Du gick fram till objektet.
Alltså vi är ju på objektet. Alltså när vi dyker.
Gick du på kanterna också?
Ja. The amazing thing here is that you don't get any answers. You just get more questions.
My name is Peter Lindberg, and I am the co-owner of Ocean X Team.
My name is Dennis Åsberg. I'm also the co-owner of Ocean X Team.
We are treasure hunters and underwater explorers. I want to tell you something, which is more of a matter to share than trying to create sensation. It is a matter about calculations and comparison. It is a matter of chance. If you would like to continue listening to what I am going to tell you, you shall be aware of that what I'm going to present for you is not representative of what I believe in, nor do I claim that it is facts. It is probably just a matter of chance.
Right now we are out at Åland Sea, which is between Finland and Sweden. In 2012, when we went out to the anomaly, we spent all the resources on, as we call it, anomaly number 1, the round disc-shaped formation. We knew about what we call anomaly number 2. We weren't able to go there and visit it and check it visually. The goal for this expedition is look at the anomaly number 2, as we call it.
A2 was discovered at the same time as the Baltic Anomaly. The side-scan image was however very blurry, and all resources we had in 2012 were concentrated for A1 instead. Therefore, having not yet been able to visually investigate A2, we thought it looked interesting though, and it has stayed in our minds all the time. However, in 2013, when we also managed to film some odd weather phenomena over the anomalies, we also managed to get a new and better side-scan sonar image of A2. To make you understand what you're looking at, I show you a nearly perfect side-scan image of a wreck we have found. This side-scan image shows another wreck we have found. As you can see, there might be a big difference of the quality due to weather conditions. Stronger winds and higher waves affects the result. This is the latest side-scan image we have of A2. What we look at is something that looks like a 35 to 40 meter long and 7 meter wide monolith. I got intrigued by its shape, since it actually reminded of an obelisk laying down. I did some research and found that in France there had been what they call a menhir, which is a standing monolith. That was some 20 meters high, still standing in the year 1700. but it fell to the ground in pieces the very same year. The one on this image is another one that is still standing, but this menhir is only 10 meters high. The menhirs in France are thought to be about 5,000 years old. I also found other objects around the world with similar shapes. I think this is reason enough to go back to Anomaly 2 to investigate these strange features. I was checking old side scan data from the expedition when we found the anomaly. This was back in the autumn of 2019. I remembered that we in 2011 had seen something that looked like a wreck on the side scan sonar, but at the same time we realized it wasn't. So we continued searching for a more obvious sign of a wreck. This was just a few days before we encountered the anomaly. I was checking file after file with the side scan data, hours after hours with smooth, silty sea floor or just some rock formation sticking up. Then, finally in the file named line 16, the wreck showed up, or at least what I remembered looking like a wreck. I started studying the image to see if it could be a wreck. But I was very soon quite surprised when I realized that the wreck most probably is another monolith like the Anomaly 2, and with a similar size as well. Even more strange is that it looked like a foundation facing east towards the sunrise, and where the stars in the Orion's belt rises in the evening. Both monoliths at A2 and the line 16 looks like they have been standing up facing east, but has broken at the base and fell to the ground. But it was not enough with finding a second monolith. Just some 150 meters north of the monolith there are round structures in different sizes. Might it be a foundation to round huts or houses? There is also a larger round object, and maybe it's similar to A1. Have humanoids once lived here, on the brink to an icy sea?
The Baltic Sea Anomaly 2, the A2, it's a different story because we have never really been there. Last time we were there, we got electro failure on the ROV. My hope now is that we can find out what it is really.
It looks like a big stone slab. Maybe it is, or maybe it's something else. I don't know.
Meteorite, spaceship. If it is, we're gonna open the door and push the button and up to heaven, to another planet, and live a good life. No, really. If we find something ordinary, something like can be a volcano, can be meteorite, can be a part of a construction from beginning of before the Ice Age. Let's say we do that. I mean, that's it's quite cool if we find something like that. We will see. We will see.
My name is Peter. I'm from up north in Sweden. I've always been fascinated by diving, and I started to look at Jacques Cousteau's films that were on TV in the beginning of the 70s. And I was not more than 3 or 4 years old. And I remember that I was playing around on the kitchen floor, that I was a diver and trying to find some Lego wrecks. And well, then it has followed me. When I was 7 years old, my mother bought me a spear gun when she were in Spain. I don't think she knew what she bought to me, but we started to hunt fishes with that spear gun in the lake. And I know that I learned to swim when I was 8, actually. And probably because I was a bit afraid of water, strangely enough. Because I fell into the swimming pool when I was 3 years old and nearly drowned.
My name is Dennis Asberg. I'm from Sweden, Stockholm. I live out in the archipelago. In my young age, I was quite early to be an entrepreneur. starting up small businesses as restaurants and car shops and computer stores and lots of different type of companies in different areas. I was a family father quite early. I was only 21, I think, 22, when I got my first son.
I've been exploring more or less all my life. It started on the local lake where we every summer went out with a canoe and searched for adventures. It was me and some friends from the village where I was brought up. Our biggest dream was that someone else would come with another canoe so we could start a fight with them, but we were always alone out there. Actually, the first thing we started to search for was a wreck in the bay where we lived, and that has disappeared in the beginning of the 1950s, and the entire crew was lost and so on. And my mother had talked about that happening when I was a child. So we started to search for that, but we never found it.
As a person, I'm a very curious person. I love to do different things. That's why I have different type of companies in different areas. I have also like a funeral company also, so it's a big difference from a restaurant to a funeral company. Yeah, in my young age I was a model and I was in commercial and I was also in acting films, so it was a fun time.
I started to scuba dive when I was 16, and already then I tried to find out what I had to do to become a commercial diver, so that was kind of my goal. But I continued with the scuba diving till I was 22, and then fortunately I had a chance to become a civilian commercial diver, but I had to train with the Navy. When I was finished with that training, I more or less went on my first real wreck expedition, and that was about an American B-17 bomber that had emergency land in Swedish waters during Second World War. And well, I organized that expedition, and we found the plane and we were ready to salvage it, but because of legal things, it never happened.
How many companies I have started up in my life, I have no clue really. Perhaps 20, 25. And really I started only when I was like 15 or 16 years old to clean windows. That's what I, was introduced to the business world as a young guy, and make a lot of money in that time also, to be a kid.
After the B-17, which were named Clay Pigeon anyway, and me and a friend, we started to search in the local court archive the period of between 1914 and 1918, when the First World War raged. And it was about a small ship named Jönköping. It was stopped by a German submarine, and they controlled the cargo and the papers, and decided that we have to sink the boat because you have cargo on board that are on its way to Russia, and Germany and Russia were in war with each other. And after 5 days we found the wreck. We had found the Jönköping. We salvaged the wreck, and we got nearly 3,000 bottles of champagne. During the salvage of Jönköping, the media interest were huge. There were several journalists and TV crew out there at the same time. Yeah, they were calling from all over the world. It was like radio in Australia and New York Times, and we knew that the champagne was on its way to the court of the Tsar in Russia. But because of the media interest, we were told that the same champagne were on board Titanic as well.
You know, life is the longest school we have, and I'm into it all the time. I'm learning every day new things. And you know, I don't regret anything I have done since I was young. I have done a lot of things, and many people in my friends are saying to me, Dennis, you're crazy. I mean, how can you do so much things and different things in different areas? And it's me. I'm curious. I love to learn things, and that's what I'm still doing. If I want to do something, I do it 100%.
Now we have about 20-hour journey to the site, and what we're going to do first is to relocate anomaly number 2. We will anchor the ship, and then we will send down the ROV and check that visually. We will also visit a third place in this area, which one of our followers found on the bottom survey data. And either it's a wreck or it's something else, because it looks like three peaks standing on the bottom with about 10 meters between them, and the highest one is about 13 meters high above the bottom. If we have anomaly number 1 as a ground point, anomaly number 2 is like 450 meters north east, and then we have anomaly number 3 about 1,500 meters east of these two formations. Usually the bottom in these areas are very, very smooth and straight, and you don't find any formations, but in this area the anomaly is really sticking out. They're coming up from the bottom, and that was why we discovered these from the beginning. The day after tomorrow we will go to anomaly number 1, which everyone is familiar with. The main task then is to find the hole which we filmed in 2012, which we lost more or less, and now we will try to relocate that hole and film it, and hopefully film down to it to see what it is.
The Baltic Anomaly, or A1 as we call it, since there is also A2 in the area, has been around all these years, even though we have been on other projects. And in 1915 I had trouble to fall asleep, so I was thinking about the anomalies, and suddenly the 3 stars in the Orion's belt turned up, because it was like I have seen the pattern. And this really grinded in my mind, so I had to go up and turn on the computer, and I started to try to fit them out. And first I had difficulties to do that. I opened up my bottom data, the survey data I had of the area, and I searched on the internet to find the 3 stars, how it looked like. And I tried to fit them together, and first it didn't. So when I correlated the 3 stars in the Orion belt with A1, A2 and the new find A3, it is a match. And with just 2 objects it could fit anywhere, but ending up with 3 in position with each other, it was kind of more or less too much at the moment. But when I did this research on the internet on the Orion's belt, the pyramids in Giza turned up as well, since they had done calculations that the Giza pyramids correlates with the Orion belt. I matched the pyramids with the anomalies, and then I searched internet for the distance between the pyramids, and ended up with distances like 480 meters, 483 meters, and so on. And when I measured the distance between A1, A2, and A3, it had more or less the same distances. In this case, A1 is the Baltic Anomaly, and A2 is what we have been calling Anomaly 2, which we haven't looked at yet. I've seen though that A2 is something, because we had side scan data on it, and it looked like a big stone slab or something on the bottom, like a monolith. In my mind, it started to grind that I must go there and check out A2, because if A1 is a big round whatever slab, and if A2 is not the natural formation, then we're up to something. A new expedition to A2 would cost a lot of money and a lot of time and effort. And it took 4 years before I could arrange with a new expedition. I didn't manage to get the budget I wanted, but finally I realized we had to go anyway. So I planned a very low budget expedition with some volunteers in the crew and very simple equipment, just to have a visual look at Anomaly 2.
We're going to pass the A1 in a couple of seconds. There it is. We're going to pass A2. There it is, yes. A2. Boom shakalak, it's on position. Should we fix the buoy and fix the anchor line?
We are at position at A2, and we have dropped the buoy. When we got close to the area, suddenly we had several ships on the radar, or it looked like several ships on the radar, but there were no ships there. Vad är det som händer? Kolla!
Kolla!
Ja, visst. Nu dyker de upp lite överallt. Bakom.
Nu är det ännu fler.
Ser någon Floris?
Nej.
You see them on the sonar, but you cannot see them in real life. The strange thing was, before we start filming, they were there all the time. They did not get away or disappear or anything.
Goose blips just popping up.
There was actually one ship over here also, but it's further from the sonar. And that we also can see with our own eyes, but those who are closer we cannot see.
Yeah, and you know, we don't have any high sea either. No waves really. You see, it's quite calm.
Yeah, and this is close.
And when you have like rough weather and stormy, then you can come up like, in this case, nothing.
We know by experience that every time we come to this area, things happens, strange things.
That's one of the reasons we are out here, because we have experienced strange things.
We have traveled now for like 100 nautical miles. We haven't had that problem before, but suddenly when we get into this area, these things happen. I don't know why, but...
Every time we arrive to the anomaly, strange things happen. It looks very strange. It might be a cloud of methane. That it's a methane seep from the bottom. I don't know how close we can go, but we have seen this growing now for a while. It's very local.
It's a very local cloud.
We gonna take a nap now for a couple of hours, and then after that we're gonna go up and do some work and prepare the ROV, and then go down to A2. Very interesting.
I take the first time now and just look out for the boat.
I hope you're still here then.
Yeah. I hope so. Not disappeared either.
They beam you up.
Yeah.
Or down perhaps.
I'll stay.
We had moved quite far distance here in the morning, and now we had to relocate the anchor, trying to catch the buoy, and now we have catched it. It's over there.
Kan du ta ROV:n, gå på akterdäck och så tar du kompassen på telefonen och så ställer du den i sydlig riktning.
We're preparing to launch our ROV, the small one, this time. The plan is to go down to A2. It's going to be very exciting because the last time we were there with our ROV, we got electrical failure on that, so it's still a mystery for us. So we will see what's going to happen now.
Redo? Ja!
It is very interesting to see how this ROV worked, because we haven't used this type of ROV before.
Right now we're just trying to find A2. We should be like 100 meters or something from A2. The depth is about 85 meters.
I'm just spinning around, trying.
Last time we were here in the area trying to reach A1 with the ROV. We had like 90-degree deviation on the course, so we couldn't reach the A1 by compass. And well, I don't know, it seems like we have maybe a similar problem now. It might be this problem if you're going around a ship, for example, where it's a magnetic field around in the steel. Or if you move over a bottom where it's highly magnetic deviation. And we know by fact that this area is the biggest magnetic anomaly in the entire Baltic region. How this magnetic deviation occurs is beyond my knowledge at the moment. Right now I'm very concentrated on what we're seeing on the sonar, and it seems like it's difficulties to get to the object. The ROV is just spinning around. It might be spinning around because of the magnetic deviation, but I don't know. Now we are very close. Now we have managed to park the ROV on top of this, the anomaly number 2. When we look at the sonar screen here, we see how angular it is, and it's more angular than it appears on the side scan sonar images. And you can see that it is about 13 meters wide, and if you measure the length over there, 27, so probably it's like between 5 and 10 meters we don't see.
We start up Ocean X Team 2011, and I met Peter 2010. So it was a fast-moving project. Just a couple of months after I met Peter for the first time, we start up our new company.
First time I met Dennis was in a local store, which he was the owner of, and it was outside on the parking, and someone had parked an old open Porsche, and we were standing there admiring it.
In my case, I traveling down to Germany, to Mönchengladbach, Düsseldorf, and bought cars. And my first car I bought that I made like double in the money. So then I understand that, wow, this is a good way to make fast money. So I sold the car when I was in Sweden, and then after that going back and forth to Germany to buy cars and sell them in Sweden. And it was good money at that time.
Next time I met Dennis was during a dinner which my girlfriend had arranged. And we were sitting there talking, eating, drinking.
I did not know anything about Peter, what he's working with or nothing.
And Dennis started to talk about diving and how interesting it were with wrecks and so on. And I were not certain if he knew who I were.
The next thing was, because I was curious and interested in this thing with diving and exploring, have always been. I asked him, have you heard about these guys who have salvaged champagne in the Baltic Sea? And he just looked at me, it's like, are you stupid?
And then I had to, hold your horses, stop. And he was like, what? I will show you something, I said.
Dennis, do you come with me? And I
I told him to follow me, and we went outside, and he was probably thinking, what will happen now?
And I was like, what the heck is going on? What's going to show me now?
And we went around the house, and there it was an old cellar. So I went in there, and I had 2 bottles of Jönköping champagne inside there. So I brought 1 bottle out and gave it to him, and he looking at it and like...
And then he showed me the champagne, and I understand that this is the guy.
This is what we have found so far. This is A2. Actually, what I thought what we were going to find was like a big slab, 30 meters long and 7 meters wide or something. It looked like that on the side scan sonar. But now with the ROV and the sonar, we can see that it is very angular, more angular than it appears on the side scan sonar, because there it looks like curved edges, but now it's straight. But it's not a slab or a cliff standing up from the bottom. It's the squared line is it's a lot of rocks lying like this, nothing in between. Well, a few, but hardly nothing. And it's 13 meter wide, and how long we don't know really yet, because we haven't been in this area. Someone can tell me if it's normal or not. I mean, you can see rocks lying in different patterns that has formed because of the streaming water during the ice age and so on, but this looks a bit odd. It might be a wall or something. It looks like a house, like a structure.
Den här.
Ja.
Men det är också sånt modellen som tillhör inte till naturens. Ganska konstigt, det här mitt i havet så, och ingen vrak.
We have been out here now for a day at the spot of A2, and we have been on it. And the cool thing with it, it's that we have this like straight lines and angles, and it looks like a frame around it, almost, with rocks. And that's very, very interesting. It looks like it's some kind of platform. And now we have seen it, it's very difficult with our ROV to get deeper into it. So the next step is to look at the other spots we have not so far from here, things we have seen with the side scan sonar before. It's like 3 pillars, quite big also, not so far from here. It's just sticking up from, we don't have anything around it. So that's going to be very interesting to see what it is.
Now we are at a place where it looks like 3 pikes standing up with 15 meters in between, and they are standing in a line. So we are trying to locate these spikes or stones or rocks or whatever it is. We have the equipment is not sufficient enough to make a serious survey.
I mean, the sonar just shows blur and the visibility is poor. I've not seen rocks standing like this, if it is rocks, which it probably is. It might be a wreck or just some error in the multi-beam program, in the data. But probably it is something. It would be very interesting to see them.
Det här är lite jobbigt alltså.
Det är ungefär som self-destruction-knapp. Vi har 90 grader ditåt. Vi tittar så här ditåt alltså.
Det är märkligt, vi åker ner.
Ja, men det kan hända att vi är här och åker eller där. Så vi måste försöka orientera oss med att vi får bergknallen på rätt sida liksom. Där har ju 3 grejer. The 3 pikes or A3, it was rock formations standing up, very pointy. And we would like to check it out further and investigate it, but we don't have sufficient equipment for that, so we have to leave it for now. We don't have that much fuel that we thought, so we will now go to A1, the anomaly, make a very quick survey, and then we have to leave for home.
2011, we found this thing in the Baltic Sea, the so-called Baltic Sea Anomaly. The first expedition on so-called wreck Kyros, a wreck that we are searching for, and then we have found that wreck now really. And anyway, at that time we were out for a couple of days and we have lots of problems with this old ship we had that we have rented. Taking in water to the ship and almost sinking and so on, and you know, it was new faces for me there also, different kind of guys, long hair and you know, strange people. Anyway, what was very interesting was really the first expedition I was on with Peter. And then on the way home, because we have been out for 6-7 days on the sea with a broken ship and tired people, and we decided to go to a spot that we perhaps have this wreck Kyros. And we put in the sonar and begin to go around there and look at it and let's see if we can find this Kyros wreck. And I think it was at night time, 1 or 2, and we were very tired at that time.
We were searching the bottom with a side scan sonar, and what that actually do is showing an image of the bottom on both sides of the ship.
And then I remember Floris. Floris is the ROV pilot we have. He said, "Oh, Dennis, Peter, look." And I just, what the heck is that?
This was early in the morning, and suddenly this huge, big, round shaped thing turned up. And it was really an anomaly from what we see usually.
So on the screen we see this round thing, and I asked Peter, have you seen anything like that?
Everyone were thinking maybe it looks like something that does not belong to the bottom, but it's not a wreck, since it was more or less round and quite big.
Both of them are divers and with good experience, and nobody of them have seen anything like that. And you know, we begin to speculate there and talk to each other, and you know, wow, this is cool. Perhaps it is a spaceship or something like that. And we laugh about it, of course. But we decided to be quiet about it. Don't say anything about it to somebody when we are on land.
And Dennis came home to me after a few days and he wanted to look at the image, which we did. And then Dennis started to ask me if, what do you think it is? What do you think it is? But I didn't know what it was. I just thought it looked strange.
I remember Peter and I, we studied this data from the side scan sonar and when we were at home. And we were scratching our heads and just, what the heck is this? And we talked to other people with knowledge about that and they just, oh no, that's something strange you have found. This is a wreck, a shipwreck, a round shipwreck. And then we decided to go out to the news, to the media, and the whole hell break loose. It was crazy situation for us both. That changed our life in a second.
They started to call from, I think it was Guardian in England first.
It's ringing in my phones the whole time. And it was from the whole world, China, US, Europe, Germany, every country in the world, even Russians.
Millions of people who has seen this in different TV shows and news shows and read about it in the papers and on the internet and so on. The only accurate figure I have is that when I was interviewed by CNN and they had 300 million viewers.
Buckle up, Star Wars nerds. You're gonna like this one.
What can only be described as the wreckage of a crashed spaceship.
Because something unusual.
So is it really?
Well, my first reaction was to tell the guys that, hey, we have a UFO here on the bottom.
After the Baltic Sea Anomaly we found 2011, we have found lots of other wrecks. You know, the thing we're searching for really is, liquor. That's the money for us. It's champagne, cognac, and lots of other things. That's the money for us.
We're at the spot. Perhaps we get the answer today, what we have really found. I'm a little skeptical also because the ROV, the equipment we have is not the best. We're doing our best to do our exploring with our own equipment and it's not high-tech thing we have today. But still, I mean, both Peter and me, we believe in this still. It's something, for sure, it is. Nobody can take that away from us, nobody. And if something's gonna happen, I don't know. Perhaps somebody's standing there and open the door and, well, come in. You never know. That should be cool.
Here's what we're going to do. This is A1, the Baltic Anomaly. And somewhere here we found the hole. So we will go down and look for the hole. And if we find it, we will see, is it a hole or is it just a pit or what is it? And if it is a hole, we'll of course try to film down to it.
On site, the A1 side, and we have the mark right down here. So we're just gonna follow the line straight down to the A1 and then see if we can find the hole.
Yeah, we have some problem with the control system and some other stuff also. Ja, men vänta, jag startar om en gång. filtering, what do we call that?
You know, we have just put in the ROV in the water and directly it's flipped. Get crazy. That's... we used that now. So we will see.
Okay!
The buoy is in the center of the A1.
Right now the ROV is standing on top of the anomaly, or should be. It looks like it's a very hard surface, even if it's silt on top of it.
I'm trying to locate the buoy on the object so we can get the position where we are.
I mean, the anomaly is parts of different materials, but one part of it, which is the massive part of it, is like concrete. But when I touched it, it turned all black.
Nothing on the sonar. I don't think we are on the top of it. Not on the spot, really. But very close. I can't find the anomaly even if it's 60 meters in diameter. I don't know why we don't find it. We have the anomaly on the sun. Probably we are just like 30-40 meters from it. We have had this problem before with ROVs, that the compass just starts spinning around and then the machines goes crazy. So probably it is because of the magnetic deviation, which is the strongest in the entire Baltic region, right here. So it's nothing we can do right now. So we will pick up the buoy and go back. The ROV was crazy down there. It's spinning around and it's very difficult to get the good picture down there. And with this sonar we had on this small ROV we're using this time, we cannot see anything more than rocks. Yeah, we're quite disappointed and we cannot do so much more now. We have been out here now and quite tired now, but we have other things to do.
I had a very strong feeling that I had to check out A2, and it was because of two reasons. The first was that I had to go there to find that it was nothing, so I could close that case down. And the second reason was that maybe we will find something. And now, after this expedition, I must say that I am more curious than before, because I believe it might be an ancient settlement, and that is reason enough to go back to investigate further.
Anomaly number 1, our finding in the Baltic Sea of 2011, have attracted lots of people around the world. One of them, it's Indians in Central America, the Gunayalas.
A while after we had found the Baltic Anomaly, we were contacted by a man named John Marczak, and he told us that he was based in Panama and that he were in contact with indigenous people there named Gunayalas,
It's a wet dream for divers to be out in the Panama to dive for treasures. So I was a little surprised about that.
We were of course skeptic at first because we have been contacted several times by crazy persons who tried to get money from us in one or the other way. But after we've been in contact with Jan for maybe 2 or 3 months, he didn't ask for money or anything. It was just that you must come here, you must come here.
And I asked him why contacting us. And he said the Gunayalas believes the gods are coming on a big stone slab or a spaceship and land on Earth. And they connect the Baltic Sea anomaly with their belief. They think this have some kind of connection with the gods in the space. And Jan Marczak invited us to come over to Panama and have a meeting with the chiefs of Gunayala.
I've been here. I escaped from Czechoslovakia with a race car, 1967. I live in Germany, then I live in the US and Alaska. I was married with Indian in Alaska. My son is Athabascan Indian, so I worked with Indians many, many years. You finally get this idea how they think work here. It's taken many, many years to know these people. I know Indians very well, but they are different. The Indians and Indian different, and you have to know how to work with them. You have to be always with them, having with them relation almost every 3-4 days all time. Otherwise, it gets spread up and everybody forget everything. So I can see it very positive. We have to be sure this is very sort of confidential. There are a lot of jealous people. They want to do the same thing. Ex-Minister of Tourism, famous Ruben Blades, singer, he got non grata as well. Brad Pitt got kicked out of there for diving. He tried dive to look at the wrecks. So it doesn't work this way. If you don't have the relation with the Kuna, just forget about it. You cannot get anything. When I find out John Mann, American guy, he lived like 30-40 years with Kunas. I went to his place and I see a lot of artifacts from the ships. He got many stuff.
For hundreds of years, treasures were shipped out from the Latin America. Many of the ships passed the coast of the Gunayalas. Some of them sank. Our mission is to find them.
We must go out to the islands with a small airplane, and it's a very short runway on this airport also.
That's a good price, perfect. Take it.
Este para 5 persons.
Okay, yes, 5 persons.
Yes.
Dennis, stand on the scale.
What?
Yeah, he will stand on the scale.
Oj. How come?
Men det är plånboken som väger.
They talked, and then we presented ourselves and explained what we wanted to do.
El señor Dennis y Peter son dos personas que son exploradores.
We're from Sweden, and we have a company, Ocean X Team, me and Dennis, and we are underwater explorers. We're here to seek your permission so we can come back and search for shipwrecks along the coast here.
Peter started, and then I continue, and I really spoke from my heart. I really want to do this together with them. as an explorer, and for Peter, it's a dream to be here. We have the tools, we have the money, we have everything, but we want to do it with you. I was scared, really, because they sounded like they want to kill us. They were angry. So I look at Peter and you know, wow, what's happened? What's going on? Are they angry at us? I asked the interpreter, what are they talking about? And I was so surprised because she said only good things.
That is an opportunity for the community here.
When we had this meeting, they explained for us that we have a special wreck they have already found in the Panama.
And the wreck was sunk in 1699.
It is a 40-gun warship from the 17th century with a treasure for a king. And it has sunk at the Gunayala territory.
Quite surprised about that, and of course very interesting to dig into that. Thank you. I don't know really if they are protecting something here, or they don't want to say anything about the stuffs in this shipwreck. But perhaps it is something there that is connected to the Baltic Sea anomaly. I don't know, but perhaps it is like that. That's why they want us to explore the wreck.
Jag tror att det går bra.